Stephen read him the envelope. 500 people were watching. Executives, artists, investors. The same people Stephen expected to watch him become grouper in one hand and something much worse in the other. Give me the envelope. The woman he believed had accomplished nothing was standing between him and the most important promotion. Stephen had spent years complaining that AIN's mysterious chairwoman never showed her face. Tonight, he was Hart-Reed. 20 years with Stephen, 18 years raising Anthony, and 20 years hiding one enormous truth. Tonight, Erica planned to tell Stephen that the supposedly absent chairwoman of Apex Influence Network was his own wife, and the envelope beside her contained his promotion. If you enjoy dramatic stories filled with secrets, betrayal, and things, subscribe to the Storytelling Diva, because the truth was simpler. She had stepped out of public holdings, and Erica remained its deciding authority. When Stephen slept, Erica approved budgets, acquisitions, executive appointments, even his promotions. The higher Stephen climbed, the more Erica out him was climbing. AIN General Counsel Naomi Carter arrived before she came home. Inside her folder was the appointment Erica had personally approved. Group Vice President. The position Stephen had wanted for years. You still want to give it to him? Tonight. Naomi had concerns. Stephen had become aggressive, entitled, too comfortable bending rules. Erica defended him. 20 years of love had trained her to do that automatically. She didn't know she was signing a promotion for a man who had already betrayed her. Stephen came home just before 10. He barely noticed the breakfast, barely kissed his side wasn't Erica's size. The handwritten card removed every remaining doubt. Signed, S. How long have you been sleeping with Stacy? The fuck are you going through my things? First, Stephen called it 3 explanations, 1 minute, none believable. Give me the fucking card. No. Anthony heard the shouting. At 18, he worshipped his father. Stephen represented success. Erica represented home. And children sometimes mistake the quieter role for the smaller one. Stacy had recently featured Anthony on 2 live streams. His following exploded. To him, she wasn't a threat. She was opportunity. Mom, Stacy works with Dad. She's sending him lingerie. Dad actually has a career. You wouldn't understand. That hurt more than Stephen's affair. Then the doorbell rang. Stacy Monroe walked into Erica's home like she belonged there. No hesitation, no embarrassment. You found a gift. Stacy called the lingerie branding, called her late nights with Stephen strategy, called Erica old-fashioned. Then she looked around a mansion Erica's trust owned and told Erica she didn't understand Stephen's world. He needs somebody who can actually help him. "What have you ever done for me?" Erica waited for him to laugh. He didn't. "You cooked, cleaned, raised Anthony. That's it. Mom, you're a housewife. How exactly did you build Dad's career? 20 years of invisible work, 20 years of protecting Stephen's confidence, and now her own family was using that sacrifice as proof she was worthless." Something inside Erica finally stopped trying to save them. "I want a divorce," Stephen laughed. Not because he thought she was joking, because he thought she couldn't survive without him. "You have no job, no career. You're literally nothing without me. Then enjoy your last." Erica left with one handbag, no suitcase, no argument over property. Stephen still didn't know the mansion belonged to Hart Family Holdings. Cancel his promotion. Then Erica reconsidered. Cheating wasn't grounds for corporate termination. If Stephen was going to lose the empire she'd helped him build, Erica would make sure he lost it because of his own decisions. Audit everything connected to Stacy. At noon, Erica entered AIN through an elevator Stephen didn't know existed. AIN's public records named Hart Family Holdings. Not Erica. The CEO handled operations. The board handled daily governance. EH controlled the trust privately. Stephen had spent years working beneath his wife's authority without ever realizing it. For the first time that day, Erica wasn't Mrs. Reed. She was Chairwoman Hart. Stacy believed she had one last weapon, a private number connected to EH's office. She called the chairwoman to protect Stephen's promotion. Erica answered. "Stephen is AIN's strongest executive. His wife is jealous and might spread rumors." Erica listened to her husband's mistress explain why her husband deserved more power. Then she gave Stacy confidence. "Tell Stephen I'll see him tonight." Beat. "I have a surprise." The audit found 6 contracts tied to Stacy, inflated rates, repeated vendor addresses, suspicious commissions, campaign spending that should never have been approved. Stephen's affair had crossed into AIN business. Then Anthony's name appeared. His creator account had been used to route promotional spending. Anthony might not have understood what Stephen was doing, but Stephen had involved their son. The betrayal became something worse than adultery. Stephen had another plan for Anthony. He promised him leadership of AIN's Youth Creator Division. All Anthony had to do was sign a proxy supporting Stephen's leadership proposal. EH has held this company back long enough. You'll finally have a seat at the table. Anthony signed against his own mother without knowing it. At 2:14, Naomi found the file that changed everything. Stephen's promotion campaign wasn't really about becoming vice president. It was cover. For 8 months, Stephen and Stacy had been building support to remove EH. They intended to accuse the hidden chairwoman of abandonment, force an emergency vote, then transfer AIN's profitable creator divisions into a subsidiary Stephen controlled. Stephen wasn't planning to rise beneath EH. He was planning to overthrow her. The woman he meant to destroy was the same woman who had spent 20 years protecting him, his wife. Don't stop him. What? Let him win. Then the takeover produced another mystery. Stephen's documents contained a Hart family override, not an executive password, a bloodline authorization. Only someone connected to the Hart family should have had it. Someone in your family helped him. Suddenly, Stephen wasn't the only enemy. Someone inside Erica's own family wanted EH removed too, and Erica had no idea who she could trust. Then she saw Mallet Brooks, her chief strategy officer, one of the executives with access to Hart governance systems. He handed Stephen an envelope. Knew you'd choose the winning side. Fire him. Erica refused. If Malik was betraying her, she needed the whole conspiracy. And if he wasn't, removing him might destroy a trap Erica didn't yet understand. Anthony's useful until Stephen controls the division. Anthony stopped before turning the corner. For the first time, he heard Stacy speak about him when she thought he wasn't listening. Stacy didn't see him as talented. She saw a last name, access, a vote. Anthony called Erica. She saw his name and let the phone ring. Some lessons arrive only after nobody rescues you. At 5:30, Stephen arrived with his own anniversary gift, divorce papers. I've been finished with this marriage for years. Then why did you stay? Stephen offered Erica the house, a house her trust owned, support payments from a salary her board approved, a comfortable life. He still believed everything belonged to him. You really don't know who you married. At 6:15, Stephen called the emergency vote. Erica deliberately stayed away. Stephen accused EH of abandoning AIN. He submitted Anthony's proxy, the Hart override, and Malik's mysterious envelope. The vote passed provisionally. Stephen heard only one word, passed. He believed the company was his. Stephen celebrated with Stacy. Anthony stood several feet away. Nobody noticed the one-way observation glass. Erica watched everything. Stephen had finally reached the throne. Now she only needed him to sit down. At 7:30, AIN's centennial celebration began. 100 years of Hart influence. Stephen entered believing the night belonged to him. Then Erica appeared. One director stood, then another, and all of them. Stephen's smile vanished, and the story returned to where it began. Where the fuck is EH? Stephen looked at the woman he'd slept beside for 20 years and still couldn't recognize what was happening. Ladies and gentlemen, Chairwoman Erica Hart-Reed. Silence. You wanted to meet EH. Beat. Here I am. Erica opened the first envelope. Stephen saw his name, Group Vice President, approved that morning. This was what I planned to give you for our anniversary. Then she opened the second. What the fuck is that? The position you earned today. Suspension of executive authority, termination pending investigation, immediate surrender of AIN credentials. You're firing me because I cheated? I'm firing you because you tried to steal my company. Then the screens behind her changed, and Stephen learned just how much Erica knew. Inflated contracts, shell vendors, hidden commissions, Anthony's creator account, the coup. Every decision Stephen and Stacy had made because they assumed EH wasn't watching. She had been watching all along. Stephen approved the contracts. Don't you fucking do this. Stacy did what she had always planned to do when Stephen stopped being useful. She abandoned him. Mom, I didn't know. Anthony apologized. He said if he'd known Erica was chairwoman, he never would have sided against her. That answer hurt almost as much as the betrayal. You didn't need to know I owned AIN to respect me. You only needed to know I was your mother. Anthony lowered his eyes. Erica still loved him, but forgiveness wasn't going to erase consequences. Stephen insisted his success belonged to him. So Erica finally told him everything she'd hidden. His first major promotion, her vote, the investor who saved his division, her introduction, the failed campaign that should have ended his career, her protection. I earned what I have, some of it. But every time you fell, I put my hand beneath you. Fuck you. You already did. Then Erica confronted Malik. He handed her a second envelope. The one Stephen received had been a traceable decoy. You wanted to know who gave Stephen the heart override. Malik had pretended to defect. When Stephen activated the code, AIN traced it. Malik hadn't betrayed Erica. Someone else had. Someone with heart blood. Stephen surrendered his credentials. Stacy's contracts were frozen. Anthony's creator finances entered independent review. Erica didn't destroy them. She stopped protecting them. 20 years meant nothing? They meant everything. That's why this hurts. At 11:57, Malik's trace finished. The heart authorization came from Europe, from an account dormant for 11 years. Erica knew the name before Naomi said it. Simone Hart, her younger half-sister. Congratulations, big sister. You helped Stephen? Simone smiles. Stephen was never the plan. He was the distraction. Erica had survived broken marriage, reclaimed her company, and taken back her name. But the real Hart family war had only begun. If you enjoy dramatic stories filled with secrets, betrayal, romance, thrillers, and shocking endings, subscribe to The Storytelling Diva. At 44, Sasha risked her body to give her husband the child he suddenly could not live without. She endured needles, hormones, procedures, and fear because she believed she was fighting for their marriage. But her husband and her best friend knew something about that pregnancy Sasha did not. One medical test would reveal something that should have been impossible. And one lost family heirloom would prove they had betrayed the wrong woman. At 7 months pregnant, Sasha Bennett was carrying a folder toward an ordinary appointment when Derek's voice stopped her cold. Through the half-open door, he said, "Sasha cannot know until the baby is here." Dr. Morrow spoke about collecting cord blood after delivery. Then Camille asked what would happen if Jonah needed more. Sasha's hand closed around her stomach. Jonah was Camille's son. Why were they discussing him like he had a claim on Sasha's baby? She pushed the door open and asked, "What am I not supposed to know?" 9 months earlier, Sasha and Derek were celebrating 15 years of the marriage they had chosen. Careers, travel, freedom, and no children. Then Derek reached across the anniversary table and said he wanted a baby. Sasha reminded him she was 44 and that child-free had been their agreement, not an accident. Derek said he had changed and talked about legacy until his longing began to sound like her failure. Later, Camille told Sasha motherhood might be a chapter she had never known she wanted. Sasha finally said yes. IVF turned Sasha's body into a schedule. Medication before sunrise, blood tests between meetings, hormones, headaches, cramping, and appointments that swallowed entire days. Derek kept saying they were doing it together, though together always seemed to happen to Sasha's body. The first retrieval failed, and Sasha wanted to stop. Camille held her while she cried and told her she was stronger than she knew. Sasha heard love. She missed Camille looking over her shoulder at Derek and the tiny nod Derek gave back. Then Dr. Morrow called them in with news. One embryo was suitable for transfer. Dr. Morrow presented the one embryo like a miracle. Sasha cried. Derek closed his eyes. Camille looked relieved, and Sasha was too overwhelmed to wonder why. On transfer day, Sasha watched the monitor and trusted that the embryo entering her body had come from her own eggs. That belief held every other lie in place. 2 weeks later, The pregnancy test turned positive. Sasha folded into Derek's arms, certain they had done it together. Derek held her tightly, but the guilt on his face belonged to a man celebrating a very different success. 6.5 months into the pregnancy, Sasha opened Derek's desk, looking for insurance paperwork. A photograph slid to the floor. Derek, Camille, and Jonah outside a pediatric hospital. On the back, Daddy's brave boy. Camille had always said Jonah's father disappeared before birth. Sasha found 9 years of specialist bills, hospital payments, and school tuition tied to Derek. Her phone vibrated with an unfamiliar number. She silenced it. Then Derek appeared in the doorway. Sasha closed the drawer and said she was looking for the insurance card. They smiled. Neither believed the other. Sasha stopped trusting anyone connected to Derek's clinic. She went to an independent maternal medicine specialist and asked whether the pregnancy could prove something had been switched. Days later, the result landed harder than anything she imagined. The fetal DNA showed no biological maternal relationship to Sasha. For a moment, the room disappeared. She had endured every injection, procedure, and fear believing this child began with her. It had not. The doctor could not identify the biological mother without another comparison sample. Sasha did not need that answer yet. She knew exactly where the people who had it were waiting. If you enjoy dramatic stories filled with secrets, betrayal, romance, suspense, and shocking endings, subscribe to the Storytelling Diva, because this story is only getting started. Back in the hospital room, Sasha told them the independent test had excluded her as the biological mother. Then she asked whose embryo they had placed inside her. Derek said nothing. He looked at Camille. Sasha followed his eyes. Camille finally admitted the embryo was hers. 22 years of friendship collapsed in one word. Sasha looked from Camille to Derek and asked whether Jonah was Derek's son too. Neither answered. They did not have to. Derek's silence confirmed the second betrayal. Then Camille gave Sasha the reason. Jonah had a serious blood disorder, and no suitable transplant donor had been found. Derek and Camille created embryos, and Dr. Morrow helped select one with the strongest chance of becoming a compatible sibling donor. Camille could not safely carry another pregnancy, so they chose Sasha. Derek insisted he was trying to save his son. Sasha asked what saving Jonah had to do with stealing her choice. Derek admitted he believed she would have said no. Sasha finally understood the deepest betrayal. Her refusal was exactly why consent mattered. Sasha left before Derek could explain anything else. At home, the concierge handed her a secured parcel and said a woman had been trying to reach her all week. Sasha remembered the unknown call from Derek's office. Inside the package were an antique emerald pendant and a faded photograph of a woman who looked startlingly like her. The same number called again. This time, Sasha answered. Attorney Elaine Porter said she represented the Vale estate, then gave Sasha a name she had never heard. Sasha Renee Vale. Elaine filled in Sasha's missing history. Her mother, Renee Vale, died shortly after giving birth, and during an inheritance fight, her infant daughter disappeared through a sealed adoption. The pendant, adoption records, and fresh DNA testing confirmed Sasha's identity. Renee's trust owned 48% of Vale Meridian Health, with enhanced family voting rights that gave Sasha majority shareholder control. Meridian Vale Fertility sat inside that system. Using the Vale voting control, Sasha and Elaine forced emergency board action, preserve every treatment record, suspend Dr. Morrow's system access pending independent investigation, and transfer Sasha's prenatal care outside the network. Derek's belongings were packed when he made his last appeal. He reminded Sasha that Jonah was innocent. Sasha agreed. She would never punish a sick child for his parents' betrayal, but Amari would not enter the world already owing anyone pieces of her body. Camille arrived crying and asked Sasha to understand. Sasha finally named what Camille's comfort had been. Not friendship, but supervision of an unwilling surrogate. Then Sasha removed her wedding ring and placed it on the marble table. She ended 15 years shouting, making one thing clear: compassion for Jonah did not erase what they had done. About 9 weeks later, Sasha delivered a baby girl and named her Amari Renee. Biology connected Amari to Derek and Camille. Deception had made Sasha her gestational mother. Lawyers in the court would determine parentage, but no secret clinic agreement would control Amari's medical future. Jonah received another chance when an unrelated donor was found through the National Registry. Sasha quietly covered treatment costs insurance did not pay, not for Derek or Camille, but for Jonah. Dr. Morrow faced professional investigation. Derek lost his marriage. Camille lost the friend who had trusted her for 22 years. At sunrise, with Amari sleeping against her, Sasha understood what had been restored: her name, her choice, her body, and her voice. No one would decide what her child's body was worth for her. If you enjoy dramatic stories filled with secrets, betrayal, romance, thrillers, and shocking endings, subscribe to The Storytelling Diva. Stephen Reed knew something was wrong the moment his wife refused to give him the envelope. 500 people were watching: executives, artists, investors, the same people Stephen expected to watch him become group vice president. Instead, Erica stood beneath the centennial lights, holding his future in one hand and something much worse in the other. "Give me the envelope." "No." That morning, Stephen had called Erica useless. Now the woman he believed had accomplished nothing was standing between him and the most important promotion of his life. "Where the hell is the chairwoman?" Stephen had spent years complaining that AIN's mysterious chairwoman never showed her face. Tonight, he was finally going to understand why. "She's closer than you think." 18 hours earlier, Erica Hart-Reed still believed she was preparing for the happiest night of her marriage. 20 years with Stephen, 18 years raising Annie, and 20 years hiding one enormous truth. Tonight, Erica planned to tell Stephen that the supposedly absent chairwoman of Apex Influence Network was his own wife, and the envelope beside her contained his promotion. If you enjoy dramatic stories filled with secrets, betrayal, romance, and shocking endings, subscribe to The Storytelling Diva, because this story is only getting started. Everyone believed Erica had walked away from business when she married Stephen. The truth was simpler. She had stepped out of public view. AIN remained controlled by Hart Family Holdings, and Erica remained its deciding authority. When Stephen slept, Erica approved budgets, acquisitions, executive appointments, even his promotions. The higher Stephen climbed, the more Erica allowed him to believe he was climbing alone. She thought protecting his pride was love. That morning, she would learn what that silence had created. AIN General Counsel. Naomi Carter arrived before Stephen came home. Inside her folder was the appointment Erica had personally approved. Group Vice President, the position Stephen had wanted for years. You still want to give it to him? Tonight. Naomi had concerns. Stephen had become aggressive, entitled, too comfortable bending rules. Erica defended him. 20 years of love had trained her to do that automatically. She didn't know she was signing a promotion for a man who had already betrayed her. Stephen came home just before 10. He barely noticed the breakfast, barely kissed his wife. Then a black gift box slipped from his garment bag. Erica assumed he'd remember their anniversary after all. The lingerie inside wasn't Erica's size. The handwritten card removed every remaining doubt. Signed, S. How long have you been sleeping with Stacy? Why the fuck are you going through my things? First he called it promotional wardrobe, then a sponsorship gift, then a joke. 3 explanations, 1 minute, none believable. Give me the fucking card. No. Anthony heard the shouting. At 18, he worshipped his father. Stephen represented success. Erica represented home. And children sometimes mistake the quieter role for the smaller one. Stacy had recently featured Anthony on 2 live streams. His following exploded. To him, she wasn't a threat. She was opportunity. Mom, Stacy works with Dad. She's sending him lingerie. Dad actually has a career. You wouldn't understand. That hurt more than Stephen's affair. Then the doorbell rang. Stacy Monroe walked into Erica's home like she belonged there. No hesitation, no embarrassment. You found the gift. Stacy called the lingerie branding, called her late nights with Stephen strategy, called Erica old-fashioned. Then she looked around a mansion Erica's trust owned and told Erica she didn't understand Stephen's world. He needs somebody who can actually help him. What have you ever done for me? Erica waited for him to laugh. He didn't. You cooked, cleaned, raised Anthony. That's it. Mom, you're a housewife. How exactly did you build Dad's career? 20 years of invisible work, 20 years of protecting Stephen's confidence, and now her own family was using that sacrifice as proof she was worthless. Something inside Erica finally stopped trying to save them. I want a divorce. Stephen laughed. Not because he thought she was joking, because he thought she couldn't survive without him. You have no job, no career. You're literally nothing without me. Then enjoy your last few hours believing that. Erica left with one handbag, no suitcase, no argument over property. Stephen still didn't know the man belonged to Hart family holdings. Cancel his promotion. If Stephen was going to lose the empire she'd helped him build, Erica would make sure he lost it because of his own decision. Connected to Stacy. At noon, Erica entered AIN through an elevator Stephen didn't know existed. AIN's public records named Hart Family Holdings, not Erica. The CEO handled operations. The board handled daily governance. Controlled the trust private authority without ever realizing believe she had one loose office. She called the chairwoman to protect Stephen's promotion. Erica answered. Stephen is AIN's strongest executive. His wife is jealous and might spread rumors. Erica listened to her husband's mistress explain why her husband deserved